you have or you may have, how would you kind of do things differently, if at all? Would you kind of, because I mean, obviously you are growing up a lot more, I guess with a lot more money, I would say, than maybe what your parents grew up with. So how does that change the narrative of how you talk to your, how you're going to talk to your kids about money? Because, for example, for me, it wasn't a real conversation. To be honest, the only time like my mom brought it up was, well, this wasn't the only time, but a lot of times when she brought it up to say, hey, we can't do this or we can't afford this, and maybe that was for whatever reason, but she did give us a lot of our once growing up, but it wasn't a real like conversation about money and investing it and growing it, things like that. I kind of really talk to my mom now about money as an adult, but no, with my future kids, I'll definitely make it a point as they're growing up to talk to them more about money, especially investing and kind of growing your money. So, would you do anything differently than compared to what your dad did, or kind of taught you about money growing up?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I feel like it's like you said, we come from completely different circumstances.
For
Like,
sure.
right now, even, 4 years ago, I made more money, in every single year than my dad had ever made. And so again, that resource is going to be a lot different than
Right.
what I had growing up. Like I'd go to people's houses and I'd see, again, when I went to the private school for 6 months, call it, I saw people's houses and they had TV screens coming out of ovens and we ain't had I didn't have a TV in my room. I had two pairs of
Okay.
shoes. Again, wasn't poor. He made sure that I was good, and it was
Right.
just, we didn't have it like that. So I think that drive isn't going to be there for my kids. So it's probably going to be more of a teaching of responsibility
Okay.
and stewardship as opposed to, hey, here's how you go get it.
Yeah.
Because ideally, whether I have kids in the next year, God willing, or the next 3 years or 4 years, again, that's going to determine, what lifestyle they grow up in. And they're never going to be in a situation where they go to somebody's house and go, oh man, this person got it like we don't. Like,
Right.
and that's blessing by the grace of God. I can be in a situation where there's never a situation unless, we go to Bill Gates' house or Jeff Bezos' crib
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
people go, oh man, this person's just blowing us out the water. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. So okay. So then, okay, your pops, and that's a good point because I think a lot of times, especially growing up, especially in our community, we tend to overspend a lot,
Mhm.
and make it look like we have it, although we actually don't have it, but we overspend. So that was good that your dad was able to teach you about frugality and not overspending and things like that. I think that's something that I'm a big proponent of.